So today we're comparing decimals, and that sounds kind of difficult, but what we can do is actually use our knowledge of comparing other numbers, and comparing means telling which one is greater than or less than or equal to. We're going to use our knowledge of doing that, and we're going to transfer it to decimals. So we already know that when we have something like this, 18 versus 20, which one is bigger? We know that 18 is bigger because that's how we count. 18 is bigger. 20 is bigger. 20 is bigger because that's how we count. And I make a crocodile mouth, and he eats the bigger number. He eats the 20 because he's hungry. The crocodile wants more. But then we have a number like 101 and 103. And let's say right off the bat, I don't really know which one is bigger. I'm going to go place by place, starting with the hundreds and going down to the ones, and I'm going to compare. So I have in the hundreds place a 1 and a 1. Okay, so I'm going to cross that off. They're the same. I have a 0 and I have a 0. Oh, they're the same. I have a 1 and I have a 3 in the ones place. Which one is bigger, 1 or 3? Oh, it's 3. So I'm going to put my crocodile mouth facing that one, 103. And the bigger the number, the more complex it gets. But so long as you start with the biggest number, the whatever place, the hundreds place, the thousands place, the 10,000s place, and you work your way backwards towards the ones place, you'll always be able to determine which one is bigger by comparing the hundreds to the hundreds, the tens to the tens, the ones to the ones in order. Now, for decimals, it's the same thing. The thing you need to remember about decimals, though, is you need to kind of change them up. Depending on if it's a 10th decimal, you might want to make it a 100th decimal so that you can kind of see if it's bigger or smaller or a little easier. And I'll explain to you what that means. So I'm going to make my little line. And I'm going to show you two decimals. I have 0.18 and 0.2. Now, off the bat, if I didn't know any better, I would say, oh, that's a 2 and that's an 18. So obviously 18 is bigger than 2. But we know that's not the case because, oh, I don't know what all those dings were on my computer, because that's not really a 2. That's actually a 20, and that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said sometimes you need to convert the decimal. You need to make it the decimal for the hundredths, because this is a hundredths decimal. This is 18 over 100. This, what we were looking at, was 2 over 10. So we needed to make this into hundredths to better compare. So now we have 0 and 0. Okay, well, I can cross those out. And I have the 2 points. So now I'm looking at just 1 and 2. 1 is here, 2 is here. Which one is bigger? The 2. The alligator wants to eat 0.20. The reason is, if you were to draw 18 dots out of 100, it would look like this. It would be one long stick. And 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this one would be just 2 long sticks. So that's 2 10s, and this one is a 10 and a couple. So a couple ones. So this one would be bigger. If we were using like the 10 sticks and the unit blocks and the big 100 squares, if you were using that, it would be a little easier to see because you could physically see it. But for the purposes of today, we're just going to compare the numbers because you don't have those at home to really work with. So let's do another one. We have the number 0.5 and 0.05. Now, we can do this two ways. We can either convert this one to a 100th because there's 2 numbers on this side of the decimal, so that means it's out of 100, or we can use our cross-out method. So if we were going to use our cross-out method, which I'm going to do first, we have 0 and 0. We have a dot and a dot. Okay, so now we're working on the decimal pieces, the fraction piece. I have a 5 and I have a 0. Which one is bigger? The 5. 5 is bigger than 0. The one afterwards doesn't matter. Or we can say this, well, 5 out of 10 is 0.5. 0.05 is out of 100, so it must be 5 out of 100. Which one is bigger? I don't know, I can't compare them. This one's a 10 and this one's 100, so I'll make this one a 10. 100. Which one's bigger, 50 or 5? 50. This is another great way to compare it. So whichever way you're comfortable doing, either converting it into fraction form or just crossing out the pieces, which is the quicker way, either one is fine. I'll do one more for you guys. We have 1.3 or 0.6. This time I'm just going to use the cross-out method. I'm going to start with my big number all the way on this side, the 1. I have a 1 on this side and a 0 on this side. Which one's bigger? The 1. So I put my alligator mouth facing the 1. He wants to eat the 1. And that's it. So you guys are going to work on that on your own. I'll post a worksheet. Have fun.